it's Writing Wednesday. I'm having kind of a busy week. As you know, I'm editing, and as you also know, since I'm writing historical fiction, a lot of what goes along with the editing is also research. So whenever I'm doing research myself, I get to thinking about a sort of subgenre of fiction that I usually really enjoy reading. I don't think there's a name for it, but I personally call it, and I actually reference this in my book review blogs, I call it the adventures in research genre. Now, even if you're not familiar with the term, which you're probably not because I made it up, you're probably familiar with the type of book I'm talking about. It's where a scholar, literary scholar, historian, maybe a scholar of religion, is pouring through dusty old tomes and they find something. A piece of paper that's been stuck inside another old book for hundreds of years, perhaps. And it turns out to be something so important and so explosive that it will change the course of scholarship and maybe even the course of history. It's, I don't know, a lost gospel. It's an authenticated love letter from Jesus to Mary Magdalene. It's a document that conclusively proves that Shakespeare either did or did not write the plays attributed to him. Whatever it is, it's important, the researcher desperately wants it, but so do lots of other people, and they're usually bad guys. I'm talking about books like these, some of which you may be familiar with, and some of which you probably aren't. And you'll notice that this list is kind of in reverse order of how popular and well-known the books are. I tend to think that some of the best-known examples of this genre are not necessarily the best written, or at least not my favorites, whereas there are some lesser-known books of this type that I think are absolutely fantastic and everyone should read. If you like this type of book and you're not familiar with any one of these in the list, check the links in the description because they're all in there. But the thing is, for me, whenever I'm engaged in doing research, I can't help thinking how much more exciting my life would be if I were living in an adventures in research novel. Of course, since I'm doing research into Newfoundland history, I have to ask myself, what could I find that would be that explosive that other people would want to get their hands on the document? Really, the only thing I could think of historically would be something that conclusively proved that Newfoundland's entry into Confederation was rigged. And I mean, not even documents of the type that Greg Malone released in Don't Tell the Newfoundlanders, which are certainly damning, but, you know, they are still matters of politics. I'm talking about something like a hidden ballot box with a letter that says, "Here are the ballots you told me to destroy," you know, signed by the person responsible for it. Come to think of it, I think that might be part of the plot of the movie Secret Nation. I haven't seen it for years, but the point is, it's probably been done, and even if it hasn't, it has nothing to do with the time period I'm researching. There's probably nothing in Newfoundland history explosive enough to produce the kind of document where bad guys will chase me halfway around the globe, or at least across the island, in order to get their hands on it. But hey, a writer can dream, can't she?
Who knows, maybe someday it will happen on one of my visits to the University Library Center for Newfoundland Studies, or perhaps to the City of St. John's archives. I'll be paging through an old book or a collection of old maps and my eyes will fall upon something amazing.
Let's say I do somehow find this incredibly explosive and potentially dangerous document, but a rival gang of scholars finds out that I have it, and they want it so that they can publish it themselves, or they want to destroy it so that it never sees the light of day. Either one will do.
Determined to stop me, they lead me on a terrifying high-speed chase through town, and I barely manage to stay ahead of them, knowing at any moment they could be on my trail.
They're after me. They want the document. And they'll stop at nothing.